Episode 143. Enjoy tonight. Jade had never expected that losing a game would cause her to meet someone who would change her fate. Dario was indeed very good to her. Still, she even felt that if he weren't married to her, he would still be very good to his wife because he was a responsible person. Don't be like this. Jade, tell me. This will give me some inspiration. I will write a book for both of you in the future. Your story can't be the story of that overbearing CEO falling in love with me, can it? Faye seemed especially excited. Faye, you have a lot of imagination, Jade said, smiling helplessly. She could not help but connect the words overbearing CEO to Dario. He was indeed very overbearing and very shameless. The two of them chatted for half an hour. When Faye finally said that she was going to go write, they hung up the phone. Jade calmed down and began to read the script. At noon, Jade noticed that the room was still terrifyingly quiet. She walked back and forth and waited for a while, but Dario still did not appear. Jade looked at the time and saw that it was already past lunchtime. She sighed. She had thought that he would have come back for lunch. Perhaps he did not want to see her and was deliberately staying away. Jade frowned and went to open the refrigerator to see if there was anything to eat. She saw a bowl of sealed pasta in the middle of the refrigerator. It was cooked. She took a look and found that it was actually very fresh. She should be able to eat it after she heated it up. She was a little puzzled. Could it be that Dario had prepared this for her? She took out the plate and found a piece of paper. Written on it were the words, "You are now allowed to go out and visit your grandmother, but you have to come back before 7 in the evening. You are not allowed to eat dinner out." Jade looked at the familiar handwriting and the tone, feeling both annoyed and amused at the same time. What was this? He wanted to chase her out. He even set a curfew, like she was in elementary school. He was treating her like a baby. He still wanted to force her to come back and sleep there? Who cares about what you want? Jade stuck her tongue out at the piece of paper and then carefully placed it in her wallet before starting to eat. Just as she finished her meal, Lucas appeared at the door of the house. He said that he had come specifically to bring her to the hospital. Initially, she didn't want to go, but when she saw that there was a ride, she decided not to just sit there for no reason and followed him. Before getting out of the car, Lucas, who always had a poker face, actually smiled. He said to her, "Remember to come out on time, 7 o'clock, I'll come to pick you up." No need, I can get back by myself." Before Jade could finish, Lucas's expression changed. "No, this is Mr. Foster's order." After saying that, he immediately left. Jade stayed where she stood when he drove away, feeling a little depressed. She kept feeling like the way Lucas was looking at her just now had been a little strange, as if something were going to happen. Could it be that she was overthinking it? When it was 7 o'clock, Jade walked out of the hospital hesitatingly. But by the time she arrived at the door, she was pacing back and forth. She wondered why he asked her to come out then. Why did she have to be so obedient? But Lucas didn't give her a chance to wrestle with her decision. He had already rushed over to welcome her. She had never seen such a dedicated driver. When they arrived at the neighborhood, Lucas actually turned back and said something to her seriously. "Enjoy tonight." Jade's face was full of confusion. What was going on? What should she enjoy? She thought Dario told her not to eat out because he had prepared dinner. She thought that when she opened the door, she would at most see Dario cooking there as usual. However, when she entered the passcode and opened the door, she was stunned. Oh my God, was this really her home? Did she go to the wrong door? She couldn't help but step back and look at the number. It was right. This was her house. At that moment, there were no lights on the hall. Instead, there was a small yellow glow. It was very lively and seemed especially warm. The ground was covered with rose petals, and the air was filled with a pleasant fragrance. When she walked in further, Jade found that there were heart-shaped candles in the hall leading from the doorway. They formed a path and guided her. There was a hint of surprise in her eyes. She really liked this scene. She never dreamed that she would walk into such a romantic setting. As soon as she entered the room, a beautiful piano piece began to play. The sound was neither soft nor loud. It was just perfect. The kind that made people feel good when they heard it. The figure standing at the end of the path was Dario. He was dressed in a hand-cut suit, and his hair was neat and tidy. He stood there straight and tall, welcoming her. Under the gentle light, his body seemed even more attractive, and his face was so handsome, no matter how he looked at it. God, Jade almost fainted from seeing it. "Mr. Foster, these candles and roses." Jade stood at the door and did not dare move. She was afraid that if she took a step forward, this beautiful fantasy would be shattered. She wanted to keep this scene in her mind forever. "Do you like it?" Dario said as he came over to where she was. He held her hand and walked forward step by step. The lovely candlelight flickered slightly. It was like a dream. Dario pulled Jade forward, and she followed him as if she had lost her soul. They walked all the way to the table. The dining table was also dressed up. It was covered with a layer of nice tablecloths, with more beautiful candles on top. There were exquisite steaks and a fruit salad set on the table. "Mr. Foster, why are you making this so grand?" Jade looked at him in confusion. What exactly was going on? "Let's sit down and eat." Dario pulled her chair out and guided her to sit down. Until now, Jade was still in a daze. When she came to, Dario was already sitting opposite her. He gave her a faint smile. Under the warm candlelight, his eyes seemed exceptionally gentle. Jade looked at him in awe. Finally, she could not help but ask, "Mr. Foster, what kind of good day is it today? Could it be your birthday?" When she said this, she was a little flustered. She realized she didn't know when his birthday was. If that were really the case, wouldn't she be embarrassed? Not only did she not remember the date, she didn't even prepare a gift. No. Luckily, Dario said it wasn't. If today was not his birthday, what day could it be? Jade really couldn't think of another day between them that was worth making such a big fuss about. Dario picked up the red wine on the table and poured it into 2 beautiful goblets. The sweet fragrance of the wine immediately came over her. "You'll know in a while. Let's eat first." Dario deliberately kept her in suspense, which made Jade's heart itch. Still, she was too embarrassed to ask. If she missed some important day, she either didn't know or forgot.